Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi. Got a hot mic here. This is the Birmingham Concert Band. I'm Patrick Jensen, and we are excited to bring you our final concert of our 45th concert season. And what better way to kind of end off the season than celebrating all the great history this band has. 45 years. That's pretty incredible to have a concert band together that long. So our idea tonight is we're going to honor kind of stuff that's happened in our glorious history and some of the cool things that are happening in the present as well. We actually have a lot of people who have performed with the group in the past, not only in attendance here today, but we actually have some callbacks coming to perform with us. We got a lot of action, a couple big soloists. It's going to be a great afternoon for a concert. I'm glad so many people came out to come and see some really, really awesome music. So we're going to start things off with something pretty special for this band. It's always cool to play new music, and it's doubly special to premiere a piece for the very first time. And the man who composed this for us is actually a former member of the band, and who better to conduct the piece for the first time than the man who actually composed it. So let's welcome, please, Nick Levesque to the stage.
Is this on? Are you sure it's on? Anybody hear me out there? Oh, okay. I could use my teacher voice too. Whatever works. Anyways, the first piece we're going to play is when we're going to premiere. It's a piece called Copper Country Winter. Now, show of hands or yells or whatever you want to do. Who has visited the Upper Peninsula of Michigan? All right. Hey, that's a good start. Who has visited the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in the winter? Okay, that's better. That's better than I thought. I thought it was just going to be my family over here. The place I actually taught for 3 years was the Keweenaw Peninsula, which is about as far north as you can go by road and still be in the state of Michigan. It's roughly about 10 hours from here-ish, depending on how many stops you make, how many fuel stops you make. The Keweenaw Peninsula is called Copper Country for the glorious history of copper mining in the area from about 1840 to roughly 1920. You kind of had a little resurgence in World War II before completely, ceasing production. But anyways, the thing about the Copper Country is stunningly beautiful scenery. Very nice, warm people, great food. I mean, who hasn't had a pasty in Michigan? If you haven't, I encourage you to try them. They're very good, very filling. A lot of history, local history. The biggest thing is the winter. The winter up there starts roughly after Halloween and ends with the final blizzard in April, about now. As I was actually watching the radar this past week, I'm like, they're actually getting some snow up there. Big surprise. And meanwhile, it was 80 degrees the week before, and I saw pictures on Facebook of some people sitting on top of the 6-foot snow drifts in their shorts and t-shirts trying to stay cool. So anyways, Copper Country Winter is a piece kind of depicting that late season blizzard, very wet, heavy snow. The big thing is the wind. But once we hit that final blizzard, the temperature kind of creeps from the teens, into the 20s, into the 30s, and it keeps kind of going up, a little bit of a roller coaster, but we had at that point, we get warmer, the snow starts melting. So this piece is kind of written. It's written right in the middle of that blizzard with the wind blowing like crazy. You just have to hear it to find out. And then we get to a slow section where the sun comes out, and finally springtime with simple gifts. So I hope you enjoy Copper Country Winter.
Thank you very much. I forgot to mention in the first half that we have a special guest in the back. I don't know if you can see her way behind everybody there. We have Carla on the piano. I want to give some special thanks to her for joining us today. But we're the Birmingham Concert Band. We're back for another half of music. That last tune was a pretty fun one that we put together called Level Up, originally done by an artist named Vienna Teng, who has some nice local connections here. She actually went to U of M and was a part of the Ann Arbor music scene for a while. A woman who's extremely talented and kind of mixes together pop themes and classical themes as well. I'm a huge nerd of about music time signatures and shifting rhythms all together, and that tune's in 7, but in 7 in like 4 different ways, kind of collapsing on top of each other. For me, it's just that again, it kind of tickles my musical bone a little bit. It really gets me going. I love music with substance. But Isaac, who was playing the saxophone solos right there, actually suggested that as a piece to kind of show us as a band that we're leveling up, we're getting better as we go, and kind of dealing with some of the adversity that goes along, and pushing ahead and making it a positive change, kind of like we talked about with American Elegy a little bit before. So thanks to Isaac for pointing that out to me. There. All right, so we have another special guest coming to join us up on stage, and this one's been a long time coming. We actually had our next soloist planned for our Christmas concert this year, but some unforeseen circumstances kind of made it not happen, not work, and we scrambled and put together some extra tunes for that concert. Thankfully, he's able to come and play with us again. We were overjoyed that he could join us for this wonderful 45th anniversary concert. Former organist of this church and very famous personality on WRCJ on the radio. Please welcome Dr. David Wagner to the stage.
It's a real thrill to be here. I think I broke it, didn't I? I'm not good with microphones. So terrific to play with this band, and this organ is absolutely spectacular. I just want to tell you a little bit about it. That actually is not the organ. That's the organ. And what you see are 30 pipes. Guess how many are behind there? 1,856. Some as high as 32 feet, some as small as a pencil. It's all acoustic. It was built for this church. It's a custom-built organ. Yes, it's a magnificent building. And 2/3 of the organ is here. The swell is there. If you sit up in the balcony, you can see some of the pipes near the top. There's going to be another 1,200 that are going to go here when the organ is done. organists can't afford to buy their own instrument. This one's almost $1 million, but it's a fabulous sound, and it's worth every penny. So I hope you enjoy this instrument with the fantastic Birmingham Concert Band.
Oh, that's why they call it the king of instruments right there. The organ, the king of instruments. Although as a trumpet player, I take offense to that. The trumpet is obviously the king of instruments. The organ could come in second. All right. That was a wonderful tune from Richard Strauss, which, we've played actually a couple of Richard Strauss tunes over the last year. And he's known more for kind of his secular sort of work. This is one of the few that he did for an occasion, and actually for a religious occasion. I love you get those typical Strauss fanfare sounds, but with a little bit of a different tone and tenor to it from what you're usually used to by him. It's a really nice piece of music. Next, we're going to tone down the aggression a little bit, give you a beautiful aria-like tune called Intermezzo from Cavalleria Rusticana, which is going to feature some wonderful melodies and some nice solos from the band as well. Hopefully you enjoy.
Here's a little organ solo. Jesse Crawford was probably the most famous theater organist of all times. He was called the poet of the organ. He presided at the mighty Wurlitzer at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. In fact, he worked for the Fox chain movie theaters across the United States, including the great Fox in Detroit. And those theaters had a Wurlitzer organ designed by Jesse Crawford. In fact, the Fox in Detroit has a Jesse Crawford special for manual Wurlitzer. And the style of playing is now disappeared. The theater organist was pretty popular from around 1913 until Al Jolson came in with the Jazz Singer movie. In fact, at one time, there were 236 movie theaters in the city of Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck. 98% of them had pipe organs, interestingly enough. And the organist would not only accompany the silent film, but would play a little recital. It's kind of a little small orchestra, and they play orchestral excerpts or the popular songs of the day. Jesse Crawford, I think you'll find this arrangement. I actually transcribed this from listening to an old LP. He loved the music of not only Tin Pan Alley, but Alexander Scriabin and Wagner. So his arrangements are just really out of this world. It almost becomes non-tonal in some spots, and then you'll hear the tune from The Wizard of Oz here. Theater organs always had traps, these devices called traps. Besides wind-blown pipes, they had traps, xylophones, doorbells, snare drums, bass drums, all the things you would need to accompany a silent film. Doorbells, boat whistles. This one doesn't have any boat whistles or doorbells, but it does have two traps. A set of chimes, a set of Deegan chimes, which live over here, and a stop from the Baroque period, which I've actually put on this organ here to play in the theater organ style, called the Zimbelstern, literally the heavenly bells, and you'll hear those. They're actually a set of revolving bells that are used during Christmas time. So I can almost make this sound like a Wurlitzer. This is how cool this organ is. So here's the music of Harold Arlen.
That was really wonderful. Yeah, the organ's one of those instruments that you can get the full spectrum, the full breadth of all the tones and all the colors coming out, and especially when you have such a talented performer on the instrument, they can really pull all those out. Thank you. That was a wonderful piece of music. Really, really nice. And thank you. I want to say special thank you to the Church of the Redeemer here for allowing us to use this room as always and allowing us to use this awesome brand new organ as well. So thank you very much for having us in the church. We have one more tune to play with Mr. Wagner here, and it's a tune that, again, we've had on the docket for quite a while, and I did want to say a special note about this one. This was also one that I planned with my Downriver band, this next tune called Psalm 150. I planned with my Downriver band, I think, over 2 years ago, and then the pandemic happened, and we couldn't perform it. There was an illness, and we couldn't perform it, and then we programmed it for this tune, this group, Christmas, couldn't perform it yet again, so I'm finally looking forward to finally hearing this song. I'm happy to hear it before, but I've had it in my head for a while, and it's finally coming to fruition. This is awesome. So Psalm 150. It's nice. It's a nice modern rhythmic piece of music, a little bit more denser chords than what we've heard from the other selections of the band and organ so far. But I think you're going to really like it. It's got some exciting rhythmic motives towards the end. So one more time, Dave Wagner on the organ. Awesome. That was a real treat. All right, so we have one more tune for you for the night. I'll talk about that in just a second, but before we get to the last tune, we have one special thing to present here, our scholarship winners for our 45th anniversary season. To present that, we have Stephanie from the clarinet section. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me back there? Okay. My name's Stephanie Karizny. As Patrick said, I'm the scholarship chair. At this time, can the 2023 scholarship awardees please come join me up here? Okay, so I'm here to introduce you to these two students today. But before I do that, I wanted to speak a little bit about the history of the scholarship program. This year's winners continue a long tradition of student scholarships and this band. Our first scholarship was awarded back in 1979. To date, we've awarded well over $100,000 in student scholarships. And in fact, our clarinet soloist today, Margaret Albrecht, and our guest composer, Nick Levesque, were both scholarship award recipients in the past. Speaking of 1979, and I'm not sure either of them planned this, but I have the microphone now and no one can stop me. We have two original members of this band who were here from that first season in 1979 that we want to take a moment to recognize. So if Rob Olson, you could please stand for us. And Carrie Mills. So this year the band offered scholarship awards in 3 different categories. We had the Bob Sack Honorary Scholarship, which was for students up to grade 8. The Dave Falvey Honorary Scholarship, which was for students in grades 9 through 10. And the Grant Hempke Honorary Scholarship, which was for grades 11 and 12. All of the students write us a short essay explaining why they feel they should be awarded a scholarship. Both of these students also sent us letters of recommendation from their band director or their private teacher. And our high school recipient here, Faith, who you'll meet in a second, also had to send us a video audition for her scholarship. Now that you've got an idea of all the work these students had to do to get here, I'm going to introduce you to them. On my left here, we have our Bob Sack Scholarship Award winner, Andrew Zhang. Andrew is in the 7th grade at Detroit Country Day. He plays clarinet and piano. He's performed at Carnegie Hall. This year, he was selected to the MSBOA All-State Band Conference. He also went to solo and ensemble this year and got 2 first divisions for both a solo and a clarinet duet. And what I think is even more impressive is that Andrew didn't start learning clarinet until 2020 during the pandemic over Zoom. It's Andrew. And to my right here is our Grant Hempke Scholarship Award winner, Faith Whitted. She is a senior at Groves High School. She plays flute and bassoon, as well as being in the orchestra at Groves and the marching band at Groves. She's also a member of the Detroit Symphony Civic Youth Ensembles. And I say ensemble, she's in more than one. She's toured Europe with the Blue Lake International program, and she wants to minor in music at college next fall. And that's Faith. You guys are all set. You can go. Thank you. You can go.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to cultivate young musicians or help cultivate the musical lives and get some youthful energy into the music world. We need more of that, and I think everything we can do with that, the better. Okay, we have one more tune for you, and I want to thank everybody for coming out for our last official concert of the season. Although we do have concerts coming up for the summer. If you check your program, we have our Whitechapel concert coming up next month. We have a concert right in downtown Birmingham coming up in June, and then in August we have our Mobig performance down on Belle Isle. We're going to continue our 45th anniversary kind of celebration going throughout the summer. Some of the programs that we're going to be doing over the summer are going to recreate the very first program this band ever did back in 1979. So we're going to play the same tunes, bring back some old ones, and mix in a few kind of newer ones at the same time. But we want to keep this going and really celebrate the great history this band has had. The last tune we're going to play is one of those tunes that was performed on the very first Birmingham Concert Band concert for 45 years ago. It's a classic by Francis Macbeth. Definitely that old kind of 50s, 60s band sort of sound, but it's a good one. Lots of energy going into the end. Chant and Jubileo. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So thanks for coming out, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you in the fall for our big band concert and over the summer and everything. Have a safe drive home. See you around. Thank you. Thank you. How about one more time for our soloists as well? One more time for Nick, for our composer, for Margaret, our clarinet player, for Dave Wagner. How about one more? You want one more? Let's do it. Band director said it's not a band concert without some Sousa. So here.